Hello, you guys. This is Brian the Archivist. Have you ever thought what would have happened if Michael Jordan signed with Adidas besides signing with Nike? Well, this is what the true story that could have happened, but didn't. But let's pretend that it was an alternate universe and this happened. Now, this is the true story. What happened when Michael Jordan signing with Nike versus Adidas. So here we go. Michael Jordan, Air Jordan, and Nike comes all together, right? I grew up in Chicago and lived in Chicago for 13 years. Finally, my family moved down to South Florida. But I'll never forget the championships when the Bulls won in 91, 92, 93, and again in 96, 97, and 98. And how can you remember Jordan coming back in his first retirement? Or even his second retirement? Come on, how about the shoes? Everybody loves, even now, probably even more popular now as it was before, are Air Jordans. Chicago Bulls, whether the Bulls are bad this year or last year, regards with the coronavirus, the Bulls are one of the top teams that merchandise are being bought, regardless if you are a Bulls fan or not. Everybody knows who Michael Jordan is and where he put the Chicago Bulls at. God level. Okay, so here we go. This is what happened, the true story on the first part, what happened with Michael Jordan signing with Nike. The years of 1984. Business isn't great at Beaverton. The Swoosh, also known as Nike, has been shaken up after suffering its first ever quarterly profit slide the previous year. Once a brand for hardcore jogging knocks, Nike is now stretched thin. Court sport teams are the biggest seller here, but sales are declining, particularly in basketball. The share price is plunging, and Wall Street message to twitchy Nike stockholders is just sell it. Reebok now rules the roast with the Crockett and Tubbs approval of all white garment leather Freestyles. Nike needs to find the next big thing, and soon. If not, they're going to crash. Nike's college hoop guru, Sonny Vaccaro, had an idea, a natural hustler and basketball promoter with the impeccable connections. Vaccaro has been watching a kid named Michael Jordan, who came through the ranks. He knew the kid is going to be something and convinces Nike bigwigs to make an all-or-nothing bet and thus on the flubber-footed rookie. Instead, the scattergun player endorses across the NBA. They decide a plan to put all the chips in on a single person. Their pitch is very seductive here. They will market Michael Jordan as his own brand with his own right, compete with other line of sneakers. Everyone agrees that it's brilliant and a ballsy move, and which is quite interesting because this never happened in the market. So they meet Jordan. Now, Jordan's first interesting move was not to sign with Nike at all, but was to sign with Adidas. Adidas wouldn't sign Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan wasn't a censor. They viewed the all-star player or the number one player being like a player that would be tall, like Bill Russell or Abdul-Jabbar or even a Magic Johnson. Although Magic Johnson and Larry Bird was endorsed by Converse. This is before Converse was bought by Nike. So the most interesting part of this is what would have happened in an alternate universe if Michael Jordan signed with Adidas, not Nike. How the world would have changed. How it would have changed Yeezys, or even with Kanye West, or even in the soccer world, which Adidas is a lot bigger than outside the United States. It's a global empire within the soccer world and other global sports that are more popular globally than outside the United States. So here we go. So Michael Jordan signs a deal and surprises Phil Knight, not with Nike, but with Adidas. Here's the Air Jordan that we know about, the Chicago ones, or the Air Jordan ones. These are the first shoes made by Nike with Air Jordan. You ever thought what it would look like if Michael Jordan signed a deal with Adidas, what would the new shoe look like? Here we go. Here is the new shoe. This would be called, perhaps, in my opinion, well, it could be Boost Jordan, or three-stripe Jordan, or high-top Jordan. I really don't know what Adidas would call this shoe, but let's call it, let's see here. Let's call it Boost Jordan 1, okay? So, regards with this is an interesting way how would have been the new Jordan model for the Jordan Boost 1 as an Adidas signed player, Michael Jordan. It would be very popular. It would probably be more popular than Air Jordan. It probably would not have even been banned by the NBA because Adidas made a contract with the NBA, and a lot of NBA players were wearing Adidas shoes. It was very common back in the 80s and the 70s. So, as you can tell, it's a lot different, right? The most interesting part is close enough, but then you have the three-stripe, and also you have the Adidas logo versus the Air Jordan logo. Now, the interesting part is how popular it would have been internationally more than in the United States. I would see Jordan signing a $100 million plus contract for the first 10 years. So this would be the bread one versus the bread one that we know. This is the famous Air Jordan bread, right? Everyone knows about who and what about the shoe. Well, what would it have looked like if Adidas did versus Nike? Here's the example, you guys. I guess it's closest thing I can get to. The most interesting part, what would have happened if this was the case? It would be something to be like this. Nike would have this scramble and signed a King Elijah one, or even Clyde Drexler, regards representing Nike. Now, I think they would go more to Clyde Drexler because Nike is based in Beaverton, Oregon, right? And Portland Trailblazers is there. And the main all-star on the Trailblazers, and probably the most number one player would probably be Clyde Drexler. So here we go. What do you guys think of the shoe? It's pretty interesting, right? So let's compare the Air Jordan 1 versus the mock-up Boost. So here's a comparison. You can tell the Air Jordan 1 is on top, the Chicago ones. These are the shoes that got banned by the NBA when Jordan was a rookie in '84. Now, on below, you could tell it has the shoe. It's pretty close. The toe part is very similar to the Air Jordan. In fact, it probably was done that way by Photoshop. This is the closest markup you can think of, being close to Nike versus Adidas. So Michael Jordan does this, and then in 1991, he wins his first championship and signs an extended deal with Adidas, while Nike becomes a shoe that's not popular as of today, like Reebok or even Puma, as an example. They're going to really suffer, and Nike closes down or get bought out by Adidas. That's what probably would have happened. The most interesting part is what would have happened with Kanye West. So we know about Kanye West being pretty ticked off with Nike and not working with Phil Knight and all. He goes and makes his deal with Air Jordans and with Easy and all, and try to collaborate. But then Nike's not going to give him royalties because he's not a player. So he just dumps Nike and it goes to Adidas. As you can tell, this is a pretty funny meme here with Kanye West wearing his 750s and having the same symbol as the Air Jordan over Chicago, which is pretty cool. So then Michael Jordan and Kanye West, basically Kanye West being a Bulls fan, an Air Jordan fan, and Michael Jordan fan, would sign a deal with Yeezys. Jordan would wear Yeezys, whether it's on the floor, the basketball style, and Adidas would control the NBA, NFL, NHL, NBA, MLB, including the Major League Soccer, or MLS, including other leagues internationally. And they would be the number one shoe company in the world, period. But Jordan would sign a deal with Yeezys as well and collaborate with Kanye West. Jordan would make a deal and he would do endorsements with Kanye as well. It would be very popular. It would be so popular that it would probably put the market beyond what we would know, probably double the price there would be. Besides $200, $250, $400 retail, and selling would be out of the roof. Michael Jordan would be an instant billionaire over this, and so would Kanye West. And Adidas would have just control everything when Major League Sports to college to even high school. It would be so popular that Nike would just fall off the wastelands and would never be heard of from again. Now, this would have happened in an alternate universe, and the mistake that Adidas made with Michael Jordan. Now, interesting enough, Kanye West and Nike had a deal, and Nike made a bad deal and dropped the ball on Kanye West. So this would have been the alternate universe if Michael Jordan signed with Adidas, and Kanye West would have done that too originally. This would have been very popular. So hopefully you guys like this video. Subscribe to my channel, and my goal is to get 10,000 subscribers, you guys. So help me out here. I would really appreciate it. Thank you.